Nick, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
How are you?
Good. Getting down to the end, but yeah, we're here and excited to close it out.
Season is coming to an end here, Nick. Just first of all, what did you learn throughout this whole entire season about yourself?
Plenty of things. Mostly how to handle teams seeing that we're having success. You know, that's when you're a target in the lineup, and we have plenty of them. You see that guys start to change their approaches, and you see different attacks throughout the year. So it's been fun to adapt to all that and like learn how the future is going to be, and just playing ball with the rest of the guys. That was fun.
You're one step away from fulfilling that dream. How does it feel being one step closer to the major leagues?
Feels good. Just got to take care of business, and you know, whenever somebody decides they need me, then that's when I'll be ready.
And take me back to that childhood Nick Pratto. What was it like growing up in California?
It was great. I had a great childhood. You know, sister, mom and dad, and my grandparents. Both of them were, or both sides of the family were close to home. So, you know, it wasn't too much traveling to see everybody. And my dad worked a lot, but he always made time for me to go out and practice and play baseball, because that's really how we bonded, because he coached me until I was about 12, 13. And, you know, we got to experience some great things together, and like Little League World Series and all that great stuff. But yeah, it was fun. Not as much of a beach guy as people would think. Not a surfer. It's the first thing everybody asks me. Yeah, I enjoy being outside and doing that kind of stuff with my friends, though.
And your dad said in an interview that you'd wake him up in the middle of the night to go hit. What made you so passionate as a kid?
I just loved it. I had a knack for it early on. I mean, it was Little League, but you know, I think I just enjoyed it more than other kids at the time, and over time it started to become skill and talent, and you know, I was just in love with it from as long as I could remember. So, I mean, my dad and I, we'd be out all hours of the night till it got dark if we were hitting outside, and then even if it was in a cage, we'd be in there for forever. So, you know, that was, the work ethic was never work for me. It was more of just going and exploring and having fun doing it.
So now draft night, thinking back to that, you're sitting in that living room, parents next to you. What do you remember most about that day?
Just how many people were there to support me. You know, that whole baseball community from where I was from was very involved with what I was doing, so it made me feel more grateful for what happened and everything. So getting all those hugs and congratulations, that's what meant the most to me that day. And my phone was going off the hook, but you know, I was having so many conversations that it was tough to keep track. But yeah, it was a really special moment for me.
And there's this photo that looks like there's about 100 people in this room. Your hands are in the air. There's a bunch of people around you. Who are some of those people that were there with you on draft night?
Ex-teammates, family members, friends, coaches. I mean, you name it. It was people from all over Huntington Beach, and people who have been following me since Little League, and kind of just seeing our career trajectory, I guess. Like myself and an old teammate of mine, Hagen Danner, who's still one of my best friends. Like we've done a lot around that city and around that area, so people just came to watch us, and it was really fun.
Yes, and you're really used to those big stages. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than the bottom of the sixth, bases loaded in the Little League World Series. Take me back to that moment. What was that like for you, probably being the coolest 12-year-old on the planet?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I remember thinking at the beginning of the inning that I was the last possible person who could get up that inning, but I just wanted it, you know. I wanted to be the guy up, and you know, we play the game, and there's very few moments like that, and the feeling you get when you're successful in those moments is unlike anything else. So it was cool to look back and especially have my dad there and my mom there. Yeah, it was crazy special. It was like a dream.
You had a buzz cut back then.
I did.
What was that about?
I had a mohawk, which was worse. It was, the whole team did. And I hadn't hit a home run the entire series after hitting a lot before that. And I was like, you know what, I need to change the mojo. So one of the coaches we had clippers, and I was like, shave it. He's like, sure? I'm like, yeah, shave it. Didn't hit a homer, but I ended up racking up a few hits and obviously the big one. So that was the story.
So it worked.
It did.
Are we gonna see buzz cut Nick Pratto return ever?
No.
The hair's
No.
too nice.
Those are dire situations.
All right, so if you could go back and tell that Nick Pratto, that Little League 12-year-old one thing, what would you say to him?
Just keep working hard and doing what you do. I mean, that was, I couldn't explain to him what's to come, you know? I mean, although like every kid's dream is to be a big leaguer, but obviously like how the process happens is unique to everybody. Yeah, I mean, just keep your head down and focus on what you have to do that day. That's what I tell him.
In getting drafted, you had a lot of expectations set for yourself. Obviously in the first round, there's a lot at stake for you and there's a lot of people watching. Did you have any fears or worries coming into playing that rookie league ball?
Not necessarily. I mean, amateur baseball nowadays is different than it's ever been. You know, there's so much spotlight on these prospects now, and you know, going through the Little League World Series and the national team a few times, and even travel baseball, like some of these guys become famous just through that. So, no, I mean, I knew I was ready for that level of baseball and to learn what the grind was like. And you know, things happen. I struggled, but to me, the level of talent was always there. It was more of just having to go through things and learn things, because that was the first time I really struggled.
2019 wasn't the ideal season for you. Where did the frustration come in, and where did you realize that you needed to change something?
The most frustrating part about it was I knew I was better than what I was showing. And I felt I was in a better place than what I was showing. So that was the most frustrating thing. And coming out of it, just being more objective with what was happening to me and where it was coming from, and then working backwards from there. So it was a whole whirlwind of ideas being shot around and throughout the season, and you know, having the hitting staff come in and say, hey, like let's narrow it down. This is what we see. This is where we think you should go, and then we built off of that. So, I mean, it was not just myself, but like Melendez as well. Like we both built tremendously off of like what was given to us at the time. So it was an experience for sure.
And what really kept you going during those times?
Just the fact that I loved it so much. It was never a matter of, is this hurting my confidence? Is this making me feel like I'm not gonna be a good player in the future? It was more of like, okay, like let's get back on track, more so.
And mechanically, what did you change exactly?
Simply put, I just move better. Just rewiring my motor pattern. It's all kinds of crazy jargon that I could throw out there, but yeah, it's as simple as that.
And then mentally, what was the fix there, or was there a fix?
Yes and no. I mean, approach-wise, I call that mental. I mean, just executing what I'm going up to the plate thinking. And like as I started and continued to have success, like just being confident in that box, knowing that there's times where I'm in control and there's times where I need to take what I'm given. So that was part of the mental stuff I've learned this year.
Well, Nick, it seemed like it worked. You're hitting the most home runs in your career at the highest level you've ever been at. What is it like knowing that you've made such an improvement?
It's more of just solidifying it. I mean, these things were in play last year at the outside, obviously not in real games, but it's comforting knowing that I can go out there against solid competition and execute it on a daily basis, because that's the game, you know. But we didn't really know until you played against other competition that's trying to get you out constantly. So yeah, it's comforting.
And then a guy named Bobby Wood Jr. comes along to do it all with you. How did your friendship with Bobby begin?
I mean, I had heard about him from previous years because he was involved with USA Baseball as well. And we were pretty close to overlapping on teams, but it didn't end up working out that way. And, you know, I followed his amateur career, and then when we drafted him, I reached out to him and said, hey, welcome. Like, we're excited to have you. Like, you're the type of guy I want to play with, because he is. And from there, we met in spring training in the COVID year. I think it was 2020. And we were right next to each other with lockers. So we would, although we weren't like grouped together, we'd talk and hang out and get lunch and all that good stuff. But we hit it off pretty quickly. And throughout the alt site, and we've been rooming together all year, we've gotten to really know each other a lot, and playing with him has been extremely fun.
And what has Bobby meant to your baseball career?
Tremendous amount. I mean, being able to have somebody to have those conversations you need to have with, and a guy who is also a leader who's gonna put the foot down when we need to. You know, it's nice having other people that are wired like you to be around and just go about your business every day.
And when you say wired like you, what does that mean?
Just excited to play baseball every day. We want to win and compete, and that's really the name of the game for us.
And then outside of baseball, what's your guys' friendship like?
We keep it competitive, golfing. But no, we keep it really loose. I mean, him, myself, MJ, Isbell, I mean, you name it, all of us go out and have our fair share of fun. I mean, we goof around like no other. So it's just been extremely fun to have that friendship with someone that I can go out and win baseball games with as well.
Yes, you mentioned Melendez, Isbell, obviously Wood Jr. What's different about this group of highly touted players coming up to Kansas City in the next few years, or maybe already there?
I think what's very unique about our group is not only are we talented, but we're really smart and we're extremely competitive. Like, everybody comes to the field wanting to win that day, and it's something that I've been around with them since A-ball. So I mean, Bobby fit right in with us as we move forward, and yeah, it's an exciting team to play with, and obviously these are some of my best friends, so that creates a different kind of culture that I think we're excited to continue to build.
And have you imagined what it's going to be like walking out onto an MLB field for the first time?
Yeah, I've imagined it. I mean, it'll be a dream come true, but when the time comes, then I'll know it's right.
Who will those first calls and texts be to when you know that you're going up to the majors?
My dad, for sure. I mean, that's my dad and some of my past coaches and mentors. Yeah, I know they're eager for it, but I keep trying to tell them, just as I am trying to, just stay in the moment and just focus on attacking the day.
And looking into the future a little bit, what are your aspirations for yourself and for this team?
I mean, I don't see anything other than us just trying to win as many games as we can and ultimately a championship. I mean, that's the kind of guys we have, that's the kind of culture we have, and that's the kind of talent we have. So as for myself, I just want to be the best Nick Pratto I can be, and external goals and awards and whatever it may be, they'll come as they come. But other than that, I just try to focus more internally and on a daily basis.
When someone hears the name Nick Pratto, what do you want them to think of?
Just, I don't know. I mean, I just want them to think that he was a good ball player, you know. I want them to know that I went out there and gave it my all every day and played as good of baseball as I could. You know, I try to be as good of a teammate, as good of a leader as I can be, and just let the rest fall in place.
Well, we're so excited for you, Nick. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.